Namaskar. Welcome to this joint podcast of P Gurus and Ganeshot as we talk about what is the huge opportunity that is at India's doorstep. And if General Ravi Shankar is made the Commerce Minister, what would he do to ensure that this opportunity is made full use of? Let's welcome General Ravi Shankar. General Ravi Shankar, Namaskar and welcome to P Gurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar and thanks a lot. Once again, we are here after a week, and you made me a commerce minister. But then, in the army, we are quite used to war games where we put on, many different hacks to go through the paces. In fact, I must tell you once, when I was a major, I was made a commander, a general officer's rank, and I put on the general officer's tabs, and I was very happy. So people said, "Why are you so happy?" I said, "यार अभी तो पहन लो, बाद में पता नहीं मौका मिलेगा कि नहीं जिंदगी में कभी." And you're talking about time when you're 13, 14 years of service. So when becoming a lieutenant colonel itself was a big affair. So similarly, it's not difficult to wear a commerce minister's hat and understand what's going on. So, you have anything to say that we can start?
There was a reason why I picked this General Ravi Shankar, because see what's happening is this is a huge moment for India, as a matter of fact. And I had hinted that if India had done a little bit faster work on FTAs and had the FTA sewn down before 2nd of April, a lot more things could have gone India's way. However, it is not too late, but you can't drag your feet. This is your moment. You have to strike it hot. And there are so many people who will benefit. And that's why, as a commerce minister, wearing that commerce minister's hat, you might be able to provide more inputs to the ministry, and that might help clarify things even better for the government. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you. What we'll do is first we'll take an assessment of the situation, how things are and then we'll come out with some kind of a plan, right? Of course, this plan won't be that detailed, but it'll give the broad outlines as to how India should move. Can I have the slide?
Yeah.
You see, this is the Trump and Xi Jinping or rather US-China tariffs at this point of time. There is a 145% tariff on China and a 125% tariff on US goods to American goods to China. So as a result, virtually there's going to be a complete breakdown of trade. Okay, but this is not the exact story. This is just the superficial story. The story is here. You have to understand here, and herein lies the opportunity, right? And this map I've used earlier also. This reflects the U.S. trade balance. This is of last year or year before last. I mean, the figures mean very little, but the idea needs to be understood. Those in dark red are the maximum, trade deficit US has with the countries, China and Mexico, and the others in various shades of red. Okay, now look at this. This is interesting. This table, which I extracted from this. In this, the direct exports, or this is not export value, this is surplus value. And this relates to bilateral trade between USA and that particular country. The surplus from China to USA, which is direct, is $346 billion annually. This is now subject to 145%. Okay. The reverse, that's about hardly 80-90 billion dollars. That's subject to 145 or 125. So the American, whatever that tariff is actually not significant. And at some point of time, China can't get away from it because it's their food. Soybean, agricultural products, for which I don't think China will be able to get from anywhere else. So that is a weak
US can make sure of that. General Ravi Shankar, US can make sure of that too.
I'm not saying no to what you're saying. So I don't think China is in a strong position on that reciprocal tariff business. except that it's for big show. Okay, the face is important. Now the rest: Vietnam, Mexico, Cambodia, Thailand, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, all these put together are about $216 billion. These are indirect exports. Some of this is their own, but a major part of it, I think, is from Chinese owners who are exporting it to um, USA through these countries. These are indirect exporters, and many times it's just transshipment from one ship to the other. Many times it's not even transshipment; it goes from the same ship with different papers. So this is now still at 44% or so, and subject to uh, all these countries have gone to Trump, and Trump has said, okay, we'll negotiate 90%, 90 days he'll negotiate. So he'll negotiate. Now, what does this represent? Something represents very interesting. One, your opportunities with China. The Chinese thing which is going to stop now, that is the opportunity. 346 billion. The 346 billion will not get siphoned through these, because America is targeting all this. In fact, America has ring fenced China with all tariffs, and these countries won't like to. They will cry, uncle, if that tariff is not taken off. So that this indirect thing will also go down. But the capacity is there. The opportunity for India is in this capacity which is lying in Vietnam, Mexico, Cambodia, Thailand, AO. You leave Mexico out, but the rest are all this side of the story. I'll get back to this later. Okay. So this also something will reduce. But these chaps are at 44%, you are at 26%. So you have differential advantage. That's the first advantage I see.
So
The second, of
10%,
course,
sir,
is
for India, 10%.
no. What? Look, I'm not going with the 10%. Everyone is at 10%. At this point of time, everyone is at 10%. Even
True, true.
Vietnam, Mexico, and
Yeah, yeah,
all are at 10%. But eventually, there will be a settlement,
yeah.
right? Now, that settlement, I'm sure, will be in favor of India. Okay. Now, that capacity which is there in all these countries is an opportunity for us. Okay. $346 billion in China. That is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Whether you want to take it or not is a different story, but it's an opportunity. Yeah, let us see how you leverage all these. Okay. Okay. Now there is going to be a major decoupling between USA and China. There's no doubt. So the first thing is USA needs goods. The demand, you have to replace virtually $346 billion worth of goods. It's not 346, it's a deficit which is 346, it will be much more. The actual amount is much more. Okay. And and China needs markets. See the opportunities, because their production, if they have to keep it, they'll sink. Okay. Now I'm not getting into who's strong, weak, and all that. That I'm doing tomorrow evening. So tomorrow evening, for all viewers, I'm going to do an analysis of you know Trump's overall strategy, how far is it successful or not, and China's strategy, where it's going, or rather, I'll examine its weaknesses to see where it's going. But that's tomorrow. The second thing is, what this chart tells me is that we need to leverage ASEAN. ASEAN won't have the capability. And next thing is, if from this, if you see, and normal thing, that whether it's Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, all these, they've reached their capacities. You can't keep dumping Chinese factories there. Then that game is up. So that means you need someone, a big country, which can provide a market, one, and number two, which can also be at par in terms of scale with China. It might not be today, but I'm looking at it ahead. So in this whole story, there's a short term issue and a long-term issue also. We'll come to that a little later. Okay, what are the fundamental changes in the global order? Supply chains have been broken or will get broken. In fact, they have already broken. And there's nothing new there's no new architecture. Globalization is over. Let's forget it. Hereafter, don't talk of globalization. WTO is dead. Okay, protectionism will be back to square one. See, the next 3, 4 are very interesting. Now, nations are militarizing. Okay, Japan, Taiwan, Europe, all these are militarizing. So you shouldn't see this as just Trump versus Xi Jinping war. As they militarize, the capacity to militarize don't exist in these countries. They're going to spend that money. So that's money which is going to be spent. USA itself won't have capacity to go for this remilitarization. I mean, they're not building ships, they're not building many things, right? So where will they go to? Who's the one who's got capacity? India. Okay, India has got this capacity, especially in the defense market. Our problem with the defense market, which is, I think, a huge opportunities, our defense sector has capacity. It has no market. You see this? The Indian market is not catering enough for the defense capacities which we have. Okay, and that's the advantage we need to use. Then Chinese militarization is ceaseless. Now, this puts China on a back foot because they have committed money and they can't stop that money from going to finish the projects. Some they will might prune down, might not prune down, but that money has to go. Where will money? If China has to put money in the military, then it doesn't have money for stimulus and XYZ. So its recovery is going to be very, very shaky, if at all. Then, if Iran goes nuclear, the nuclear threshold of many nations will break. It has its own dynamics of expenditure, whether it's in space, whether it's nuclear missiles, surveillance systems, carriage systems, transportation system, everything. So this again gives you an opportunity. Okay, because opportunities are not direct in this. There are a lot of indirect opportunities. Okay. One thing we need to realize is each nation for itself. Forget about the WTO and all that is gone. And you are entering a zone of uncertainty. Now, China has made out a very clear, focused outreach to you. Okay. Now, on the left, you see this is the chart which they put out today to show that top contributors to global growth is China, followed by India, by USA. I mean, this is, and they put out some videos and all to show India, China in good light and all that. But if you read Guancha today, they're cursing us. And that I have put out on my tweet and my handle. And then this post which came out on the right, which says China India economic and trade relationship is based on complementarity and mutual benefit, blah, 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 facing US, all that. So they want India on their side. They're desperate. Let's be very clear. They're desperate. It's an opportunity. Again, whether you want to take it or not, is how you have to play it is the thing. That's the thing. Then, of course, day before or yesterday, Commerce Minister, he is very clearly said India will restrict investments from China. And he says we have to be cautious about whom we allow to invest in the country. Now, this has been picked up, this statement, and it has been put on Global Times in the front page. Okay, so there are issues in this. So this outreach is on one side, on this side, internally they are cursing us. So this dichotomy will be there when we deal with China. Right. And then, we are on the verge of a tsunami of global exports from China. Because China has switched wholesale to market, exports, manufacturing and exports. It's the last leg for Chinese growth. Property is gone, infrastructure is gone, there's no consumption. So if this goes, China's done. So China will go all out to protect it. If China can't offload the merchandise which it is producing, it's over for China. But why, how it will be over and all that, tomorrow I'll talk. I'm not going to get into it because I'm now going to talk only about India. Okay, can we take the slide off, please? We don't need the slide. Okay, now, as far as I'm concerned, I've given you the backdrop so far. So let me get to my fundamental way of thinking, or rather, what should everyone think? This is not very original, but as original as I can think of. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Indian interests are supreme. The rest are all irrelevant to me. The welfare of my people are most important. Every Indian should remain as happy he is today or unhappy. Ideally, he should be happier, but if it can't, he can't go down. That's my thing. Second, neither China nor USA has helped us reach this location place where we are today. Understand, China couldn't have become what it is without US help, nor could have Japan, nor Germany, and all that. But we have come here on our own. No one has helped us. In fact, at some point of time or the other, both China and USA have been against us. Okay, so we should retain this characteristic of not depending on others and work to our interests. Trade war is on full blast, we know that. And then now this trade war, which is there, as I explained to you, opens up opportunities. Okay, now I have to hark back a little. You know, just post COVID, everyone said China plus one. And our government also came out with PLI scheme, all that, it failed. There was nothing. We could do nothing. And everyone started cursing the Modi government. That look, you're not been good enough to get industry here, all that. Be that as it may. Two things. One, it has provided experience for now. Second, that China plus one couldn't have come here because it was designed not to come here. It was designed to go as into a surrogate form of China plus China. That is plus China in Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Bangladesh, and all these. Chinese never wanted to give anything away to anyone. Okay, they would have given some commission to Vietnam and all that, and end of story. But in the process, some capacities have been created there, which gives a release wall to USA. Okay, right. So interestingly, this China plus China, which I'm talking about, China plus one, which went to all other places, was abetted by USA itself. US people knew all this was happening. They said, fine, it's okay. As far as it's in Vietnam, we are okay with it. Tomorrow something happens in China, we can still take from Vietnam. But they didn't expect this situation. Right. So this is a situation where today uh, you have to come to India. This is what I've been saying for the past 4 years. People have to come to India. Like Apple has come. A lot of problems with Apple. Everyone's some lot of views about it. People say our people don't have skill, we don't have this, there was a strike there, this, that, all that. Well, the way I look at it, if they don't come, they don't recover. Their basics are not met. So they have to come. Everyone. Okay, it is just not Apple and big end items. It is a normal thing, zippers, hangers, toys, books. These are the things which the big opportunity is. And for this, you have enough skills. You have enough skills. It's not a great thing that you can't produce a book in India. or a children's book in India. You can. It's a matter of pricing and putting the right things together. I will talk of that. So the next thing which we have to factor and never forget throughout is we have huge dependencies on India, on China, electronics, API for pharmaceuticals. You need that. You are completely dependent on China for a majority of things, despite what all we have been able to try to do. The reason is simple. Why we are still dependent is if your pharma, exports increased, you needed more API. Okay, so you continued buying from China despite the fact that you started making your own. But I think the time has come now when we have to go in for a concentrated effort to increase API, right, and electronic items, hardware. It's not as if we can't do, we can do. Okay, 10 years now 2008, now 16 years back, I've seen video not Vodafone, yeah, the
Videocon?
Videocon, the Videocon, factory in Ahmednagar, not Ahmednagar, Aurangabad. I went there, and they were making everything end to end. They were making everything with Japanese help. Videocon is gone. All that is gone. That's a different story. But that capacity was there. That skill was there. Only thing is we've let it rot. So, but the fact is that today you have huge dependencies. You need time to transfer all that, and you need time with focused effort. The next thing which we need to realize is just our industrial base and our policies cannot replace China. I mean, let's be very clear. You don't have that capability. And we should be very clear about it. So, we need to be prepared to struggle before we have a gain. Now, what is this struggle? What is this whole story? Okay, like I said, India has the capacity, it has the scale, it has the size. This, of course, a movement of opportunity. I already said, look, have a short term plan and have a long term plan. Short term plan is how you meet the rush of the US demand. Okay, for that, let me put it up front. You have to talk to USA and say, look, use India as a release valve at bet down prices. Because today China will give you a complete rock bottom prices. Take it, give it to USA. Because you can't absorb it. Okay, you take it and give it to USA. And this should be a deal. I will, if I were the Commons Minister, I will tell USA, you don't worry, I'll give it to you at rock bottom prices. Even if you put 50% tariff on me, it will still be lower than what you get from China. And I'll beat down the prices with China. This is a deal I'll do. Deal and art of deal. I mean, Sree Iyer, do you think this is a logical way of thinking?
Yes, except there is one small observation. I think a lot of countries are trying to do the same thing.
But a lot of countries won't
Vietnam,
have the leeway to do it, no?
Vietnam, Cambodia, they think they can do it.
No, they
But you're
can.
right.
But
It can be the pressure valve release. Yes, yes.
no, opportunity. I'm talking of opportunity. Look, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying others won't do it. I'm saying what is the opportunity? And I need to capitalize on this opportunity. I'll tell you how we'll do it. Okay. Like I said earlier, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos have no more capacity. Right? You also have your neighborhood along. So you need to take this lead as the big country here and tell them, okay, you take your share, I'll take my share, and we'll talk to USA. You talk to USA on behalf of everyone and say, I'll give you everything. A consortium approach. Okay. On what basis? We'll come to that. Okay. Because that will give USA off ramp of not getting into deal with everyone and all that. Right? They might get, but They will be the short term fix, we will be the long term fix. That's the idea. And of course, you need to have some surge capacity made. That has to go on forthwith. Okay, right. So then the next thing is China has already said we'll give you discount sales, yeah, whoa, all that. That discount sale is dumping. They want to dump. So keep them off your back. When you don't ensure they don't dump, close third party loopholes China to you. I would close it. And if you heard that interview with what Mr. Goel spoke, he said we know where they're coming through, yeah, all that. Close all those loopholes. I mean, there's no other choice we have. Okay. And make a plan to reduce dependency on China. What will you do? What all you have to do? What capacities you have to build? Make a mega plan. Then the next thing is you need to have strong bilaterals with strong economies. Something which we already started doing, whether it's USA, EU, Japan, Taiwan, Middle East, FTAs. We already far down the line for an FTA with USA. I believe the terms and conditions have come to. And after that, detailing. So put it on a fast track. EU and UK, Australia, all these people, Middle East. Okay. So you have uh, now in this, IMEC is an important component. See, the advantage you have is IMEC. Now let me go back. You see, when Mr. Trump said at his inauguration, I'm going to have a beautiful corridor from Mumbai to Middle East to Italy to all that. So he was not joking. Now, if you see in retrospect, he had it all planned. And a lot of work has gone on in IMEC. Take it from me uh, at this point of time. So build on that because that is a great opportunity which we can't miss, and that will help us in this also. Then you need greenfield investment in technology and enable growth. And this investment, what you can do, but you don't have much to do. Ask now, open doors for investment because investment now won't go to China. So make your investment capabilities better. Now, making investment capabilities better, physicality of it, I'll come a little later. Reach out to the global south. Okay. The global south is an opportunity, but I don't think we will be able to make much headway there for the simple reason that China will go very strong there. I mean, it has to go. But then the capacities there are less. You need to use the Israel connection. See, Israel is a key player in this. Why? Israel doesn't like China anymore. The days of it going to China are over. Israel has technology. Israel needs political support from India, and Israel is a good friend of India. So leverage, and Israel knows how to work with India. Use Israel. Use the Quad mechanism. You see, Quad these days is not a security system, it was for supply chains, yeah, war. Get that going. Okay. And all this can happen if investment comes into India. Then you have to start looking at the post-Ukraine war scenario. I'm now talking of not immediate short term is very simple. I can tell you 100 things but you need a long term plan. So that long term plan, Ukraine is important. That will that's a 5, 6, 7 year term plan. That's the minimum. Okay, this is the mota ideas. Execution. which is the most difficult thing. बात करना आसान है, how will you execute it? Unless you execute it, you're nowhere. Don't respond in a hurry. Don't do anything in a hurry. Wait. This game is not yet played out. In the next 10, 15, 20 days, people will this will start crystallizing out. The nuances of this whole story will start crystallizing out. Right now, they're all first reactions to everyone, whether it's the Nasdaq index or the Shanghai Composite or BSC. These are all emotional outbursts. These are all of investors. It's not of the common man. The common man is not invested in stocks. How many people in India are invested in stocks? Who bothers whether BSC goes up or not? People don't even know what stock market is. The Aam Aadmi doesn't know stock market. The Aam American doesn't know what stock market is. So don't get carried away by dollar being sold off, ये वो all that. ये हमने देख लिया बहुत जिंदगी में. I mean, for those of you, you must understand. I've seen Sensex lowest 1902, not year, 1902. BSC Sensex at 1902. Today it's over 70,000. Okay, this was in the year 88, June, July 88. Nothing happened. India has progressed. Okay, it's long time, but I've seen that day. People said buy Reliance those days. यार मेरे पास तो पैसा ही नहीं था. I never did anything. Anyway, that's a different story. So that's it. Wait for 15, 20 days. Things will clear. And then you see your opportunity lies in how do you deal with China, because China works on very wafer thin margins. So you'll get knocked down prices. It's a sale. It's a fire sale. Wait. The fire is on him, not you. You have the cash. Cash is king now. Okay, my way of looking at it is I'll go to the Prime Minister and say, have an inter-ministry coordinating council headed by a senior minister. Right? Not the Commerce Minister, a senior minister. Who he can do. Or a special create a post of a guy who's very good at it. I don't know who. Someone will come, I'm sure it will come. Okay, this should consist of commerce, defense, MATI, finance, aviation, shipping, all this. It's a multi-ministry kind of a thing. Ports, transport, power. Because if you want industry, you need power. You need power, you need water. You need water, you need agriculture. It's a whole of government approach. If you don't have a whole of government approach, we are not going anywhere. फिर तो ऐसे ही रहेंगे. The whole thing will go. Now a very major point. Set political differences aside. Call all. The way I look at it, a prime minister should ring up all the state CMs personally, especially those people who are opposition ruled states, and tell them, let's meet in wherever in Delhi. We'll all meet because India is at a point of opportunity. And they'll all come. Just Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Coimbatore or not Coimbatore, Karnataka or Gujarat will not be able to take on this load. This has to go over far. So you need everyone, all hands on the deck. So you need to set political differences aside and work. Even if it means, saying hello to TMC. I know BJP and TMC are loggerheads with each other. I'm not. I'm not loggerheads with both. Okay. So get them on because it's a party. It's a Janadesh hai bhai usko paas. So bulao usko. Then start looking at special industrial zones. I'm not talking of export zones. I'm talking of industrial zones. There's a difference between export zones and industrial zones. And these industrial zones should have a single window system for everything, whether it's power, electricity, AO. Why you want to set up a factory? Here's your plot. Start set. Get going tomorrow onwards. You want to get your contractor? Fine. Otherwise, I'll give you a contractor. You do, and this is it. What factory you want to set up? You set up. You want an incubation for each thing? Done. Facilitation center? Done. Single window, right? And in whom you want to put, that's your choice. Yeah, this could be the products from there could be export oriented. It could be import substitution to reduce dependency. Focus plan चाहिए ना, API बनाने के लिए एक फैक्ट्री चाहिए आपको. Okay, it could also be joint production with EU, USA and UK and anyone. It could be a twinning model. I'll say what twinning model is. Now you make a part, any part. So some part you make here, some part you make there. Some parts you make all over the world. I'll give you where I get this idea from. You know, when the M777 was made, all the parts were not made in India. In fact, very few were made in India. Today we make most of it. Some was made in Italy, some in France, some in Germany, some in USA, some we don't know where. Now, all those were flown to India and assembled here. So you start that process. So you have, okay, a part, I'm going to make a vacuum cleaner here, and that vacuum cleaner will have parts from XYZ places. Okay, you have reciprocal tariff, equivalent tariff, and you make it here, twin. So it's as good as made in USA, send it back there. Or the other way around. And you could have Indian companies making it in USA from my side. It could be joint ventures. It could be a joint venture between India and USA. Models are huge. If you want to do it, you can do it. So that willingness should come in. Okay, you could have, of course, like I said, single window. Everything has to be on a single window system. I mean, a bank, post office, everything, transport system, everything is there. And the model I recommend everyone to follow is that Mundra port. You go to Mundra port, Adani's model, how they developed from nothing. It took them time, so be it. If we can do it, why can't rest of our people? Why can't the rest of the governments? And we have this capacity. Some governments will definitely have this capacity. Like, for example, you have a defense corridor in the north and defense corridor in the south. Convert it into an export corridor. Already there. I mean, you don't have to think far. Okay. In any case, even if it's a defense corridor, you still need get EU people. They have to spend on defense. Make it ready. Use it. Repurpose it. Okay. Okay. In this, you have to give the small players a chance. When you take on the load which is coming from China, like I said, it's the small things like keychain. These are the things which I'm sure you go to any Walmart or you go to any Target, it's all full of things from China. So for those you don't need technology, you need processes. So I will go in for process training schools. Set up processes. It could be on-job training, whatever. Set up industrial processes. Okay. So if, for example, you want to make something, or say generators. No, generators need castings, it needs wire, you need some nuts, you need this thing. So can you have it all in one place? So a chap says, look, I need so many castings of this. Say, okay, by tomorrow I'll give you. And it's probably just across the street or something. I'm exaggerating it, but that's the way. I'm in near vicinity. It's not that I say, acha yaar, hai kaun ye wo, all that. So all this networking you need to do on a e-basis. Use AI. Repurpose all your thing. set up AI parks, set up various technology parks. Incidentally, why I'm talking this is in Tamil Nadu, I helped set up 4 such parks by Siemens and Tatas and I'm forgetting off the cuff. This is 5 years back. Get technology in, and that technology people are prepared to come. You don't need any great investment and all that. People are prepared to even invest from abroad. At that time, I had for getting 4 technology players in here. We had about 20-25 people all over the world who were doing it. So it's not, and these are all technology enablement centers, which put processes together, which give solutions, which a small player can't have on his own. Where will he go? Okay, where will he go? You have to have architecture where a chap sitting in USA can order online and pay there, and that process. So you need to put a financial architecture in this. Luckily, we have the architecture. UPI is a great architecture. Spread it. Okay, I mean, UPI might not be acceptable to many people, but this is a moment of opportunity. Okay, it's just not the L&Ts and Adanis and Bharat Forge and those are the guys or Reliance who should get the opportunity. It's a small player who should get the opportunity. It are startups who should get. Now, all this will need a communication architecture. You will need a financial architecture and all that, which means you need a good monetary policy, right? You need monetary policy. You need mobilization of financial resources. So you are looking at a financial package. You should be able to give loans to small people. See, a chap who wants 10, 15 lakhs loan to start a small factory, house, he makes something in the house. As simple as, children's toys, not toys, books, A, B, C, D. Very simple books, which all of us have seen. But now you need, so a chap in his own house, he makes all that. Small loans. He is not going to wait for some chap from USA to invest. But what he needs is someone to give him that loan, someone to give him the infrastructure, some incubation centers. And all these are models are available with us, with startups. Startups have incubation centers, facilitation centers, and all that. I mean, I'm not going to go into what goes into this facilitation centers and all, but we can do. You need to do training side by side. You have already gone into a training. There's a ministry which does the skill development. It's not as if the skill development is not being done, but realign it to what is required. You need to enhance this process. Okay. Then you are on the verge of signing a free trade agreements with USA, all that which I mentioned earlier. You must get to that. Next, renegotiate all deals with China. Remember, Xi Jinping is at a position where he can't back down. If he backs down, loss of face, he might be removed. If he continues to face up to Trump, which he's doing, this Chinese economy will go for a wreck. The dynamics of whether who will blink first, we'll talk tomorrow. In fact, the heading is Trump at 145 versus Xi Jinping at 125. Who'll win, who'll lose, what's the likely outcome? We'll talk tomorrow. Okay. But if that both sides, Xi Jinping is stuck, just like Trump, both sides they're stuck. Yeah, man,
Sir,
they
would you
can't
like to have a slide on this, sir? Would you like to have a slide on this?
Okay, I'll put it up. Yeah, why not? Show
Yeah.
it. There's a slide here. Yeah, this is
Sure.
it. Backing down is loss of face. Not backing down will wreck the Chinese economy. It will also get political instability. Either way, there is going to be political instability in China. So China is open to negotiation today. And also take care. We should not forget, an over militarized China can strike out militarily. Okay, that's important. And my last thing, which I feel at a national level we have to look at. And if you remember, Shreyarji, 2 years back we said 5 point framework for strategic independence. If you remember, we did a program also on
Right,
this.
right.
Right? I've added one more to this, and that is import
AI and
substitution.
IT. Mm. Oh, import substitution.
Right?
Okay.
Import substitution, because that you need today, right? At that time we didn't have that requirement because we were not importing that much during COVID, right? But today you need import substitution. See, if all these plans have to succeed, you need water. Without water, you can't succeed. And also remember, you have to remain a agricultural net food provider for the world, which we are today. Okay, is there a case for American agricultural system and our agricultural system to come to terms with each other? So water is important. Water is important for industrialization. So you need to do something about water, whether it's groundwater recharging, whether it is linking canals, all that. Health. Health is a major plus point for us. Need to maximize on this. When I say health, it's not pharma alone. It's your medical tourism. Maximize it. I know, interestingly, way back, China came out with an article to say Chennai is a medical tourism hub. People come from all over to Chennai to get treated. Replicate it. Defense, major hub with the way world is remilitarizing. AI and IT, I don't have to say. Energy. So it is, you need power. Do you have power for all this upgrade? I mean, it's easy to say I should produce. Where will you get power from? You don't have energy, forget it. Yeah? So you have to up the energy thing. How will you do it? Will you go back to China for rooftop solar panels and all, or something else? Will China give you? China, as it is no more to give you anything. No technology, no nothing. Yeah, that's it. This was the last slide. Yeah, take it off, please. Right? So it is only saying you sell. I mean, I will sell, you buy, and you resell, do what you want. They want to make, India as the new Vietnam, which is not correct for us, or not acceptable to us. Right? This is our opportunity. You have to grow. You can do deals with China. You say, okay, you want to produce? Come produce here. You will be the 49% partner, I'll be the 51% partner. And that you take EU, take UK, take USA into confidence and tell them this is what I'm going to do with them. They will come. They have no choice. If USA tightens the screws, if not today, if not tomorrow, after 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, China will come, because China has got no other avenue of growth except exports, and it has been ring fenced. I mean, full marks to USA that it has done this. That is how we have got this kind of a opportunity. Right. I hope I've convinced everyone of what I'm talking, and I'm prepared to take on questions now.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a few questions from our viewers. Let's go through the questions.
I hope what I spoke was okay.
Oh, absolutely spot on, sir. Spot on. You're advocating sleeping with the enemy with a gun below the pillow.
No, I mean, look, in this case, there's look, to say that you'll shut China out is, you can't do it, because you're yourself dependent on them. Okay.
Next one.
You wanna,
Questions, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
please.